Today is July 13th, 2022, and a couple of days ago I went to the mountain and I started to read some of the short stories book, and also James Joyce's Dubliners. This is a compendium by James Joyce, the short stories, growing up, experience of growing up in Dublin. And I started to read that, and each one I felt like very, I think very nice short stories, very nice memories of growing up, and snippets of here and there, the people who lives in Dublin. And by the time I went to, oh, by the way, some of the short stories is in other short story book as well, the greatest short story in the world or something. But specifically, I like to talk about today the I think the third or fourth stories from this is it's called Eveline. Eveline is the name of the young girl who, cooped up in her very not so wealthy household where parents may be abusive or very poor, and she wanted to get out from that situation. And she's a very smart, beautiful girl, and who wants to experience more or less like a lifestyle of the urban lifestyles of somewhere outside the country, and trying to enjoy her life. But in that type of household and environment, it's very, very difficult to achieve that, and she suffered. Every day she feels that it's like wow, I like to go somewhere, I like to experience, I like to do adventure, but that would never come. So it's very I would say kind of a desperate conditions that she was in. But one day she met this young sailor who had very similar probably feeling about small town in Ireland or whatever, and who wants to get out from the country and going overseas somewhere. So he decided to go to Argentina, and he had some experience, overseas experience, and I think he's been there before and he really loved it there. So he asked Eveline to come along and get married or whatever. So she thought about, this is a chance to go. Finally, I could go outside from this small town, and I could experience more adventurous, exciting life. And she was kind of hopeful and excited. And so the day came for departure, and she more or less she decided to go with him. And so she prepared for leaving, and thinking of back and forth about the places she was born and grew up, and also these future places, and with full of bright possibilities and adventures, fun, exciting life. And so she was going with him and Frank, his boyfriend's name is Frank. Frank is holding her hand as they're going, and to the harbor, and she packed and everything, and she let the Frank go first because it's a narrow pathway to the ship, and so he has to go in front and she followed. And so Frank went ahead and went to the ship and waving at her to come over. And she stopped there. She hesitated, and she finally realized she cannot go, and she stayed. So that's the end of the story of Eveline. And this particular story is very, heartfelt and I would say provoking my own memory of living in small town in Japan, and dreaming of going to Tokyo, and dreaming of going to America or something like that. And when I was like high school, I think, I met this, I think my elementary school classmates who are pretty very smart, but she was also at the time she was a bossy figure in that particular class, and she was like a big leader, a boss type of person who are controlling all the girls in the class and doing things that and ordering other friends to do something or rather. So when I was the classmate with her, I was kind of fascinated to see her. At the same time, I hated her at that time because she was so evil, and but she was pretty, nonetheless, and smart. So when I was in high school, I met her, and she was completely different person at that time. She was very intellectual and very thoughtful and very nice to go at the time. So we talked, and she was describing this romantic feeling of, getting out from the place that the town we grew up with, and so forth. So that particular story of Eveline reminds me of her, and the particular feeling of longing for getting away from the place that you are born. I think this is a very universal feeling that for some reason, if you are born in one place, even the places could be in New York City or whatever, but regardless, you want to get out from that environment after a while, especially when you are a teenager. I think you want to get out. I think that feeling is very kind of a romantic and adventurous and exciting. And that feeling, I really identified it. So I love this Eveline story, and I start to appreciate this Dubliners short stories so much. And his writing is easy, but I think well constructed. And I think as a short story, well constructed, and it's easy to read, and also craft, his writing craft. I'm not the writer, so I cannot, I cannot speak about his styles or writing capabilities or anything like that. But I really like his writing style, and so I kind of look forward to see the rest of the Dubliners. Okay, bye.